doing?
Well, I think it's not just for me, it's for the job that the board have done and everyone else really, in making the club open, honest, transparent. I think the fans believe in us. Even the debate that's going on at the minute with the ownership model, yeah, there's arguments either side of the debate, but at least people trust us, you know, we've got it out there, and ultimately it'll be for the fans to make that decision.
As you mentioned last night, I guess we should stick on that topic. I thought Eisner came across as very slick, and just the standing ovation he got, you don't get that from doing absolutely nothing. I thought he was fantastic last night. Obviously, you can't say that.
Well, I can say if he was fantastic or not. I thought he was fantastic. Yeah.
But what do you feel about the bid? Obviously, you can't say in a professional capacity, but it's a very good offer that's on the table.
Listen, I think I'm all for fan ownership. Yeah, so I'm 100% with Pam and the rest of the trust board. I wish every club was fan owned. That's the truth of the matter. Unfortunately, they're not. We're in a competing business with other clubs that do have owners that are willing to put in X amount of millions per year. So that changes the debate slightly. And it's interesting to know that as a fans-owned club, we're there to represent the fans. And even in the trust survey, and generally 95+% of our fan base believe that we are a championship and premiership club. So we should listen to the fans. That is the ambition of the fan base. I wish every club was a fan-owned club, because I think it'll place us in the hierarchy probably anything from 15th to 25th in regards of the fan base and the money we can raise. But when that's skewed so much with rich owners putting in millions, if not tens of millions every year, it just puts us at such a severe disadvantage. And I'm ambitious, I'm sure Pompey's ambitious, so that are all the factors that have got to be taken into account.
Especially when you look at the stadium as well, £5 million worth of there, £20 million worth of debt in the Championship. These figures aren't exactly, you can't keep raising these.
Listen, I think it's a bit like Brexit, you know. If this doesn't go through, the wheels are not going to come off Portsmouth. Let me be clear about that, yeah? Portsmouth will continue. I'm sure we'll get through. If we just want to get through, great. If we want to compete in the Championship and the Premiership, not great.
Simple as that.
Simple as that for me. But I don't want people to vote yes, thinking that the day after we're suddenly going to go into administration, because we're not. I'm being balanced here, yeah? The club will continue. I think we will be able to raise money. Will we be able to raise money to improve the club and then compete in the Championship? I'm sceptical.
And that's a question that only time will answer.
Yeah, and listen, some people staying fan-owned on that model are quite happy. And I respect that views and opinions. I personally don't believe that's the view of the majority of Pompey fans.
Certainly, that's enough of the takeovers. We'll move back to what's been happening on the pitch. I've seen some ovations in my time, but I don't think anything quite compares to you walking into the Victory Lounge on the Monday of Notts County in the evening for the celebrations. I don't think any CEO in the business would get a reception like that.
No, but I go back again, right? It's great and I loved it, obviously, you know, who wouldn't? But it is about the team. It's about Ian McInnes, it's about the rest of the board, it's about the trust board. Everyone has worked so hard. And I only get that ovation because I'm the face there and I come on shows like this, you know, and do the support clubs meetings with Johnny and all that. But you got to realise, you can't. It's not one person. It's a massive team out there that enables you to do that, and we have got a great team.
And the great team. What's been so great about this team to get us promoted?
Well, I just think it was stability. You know, there was. I think in January there was a growing pressure I felt on Paul. People held their nerve, rightly so, and it was that stability that got us through, that consistency. And in the end, I felt the last 10, 15, 20 games, it came to a point where the team was playing how Paul really wanted them to play, and that come through, and that got us over the line.
I wish people could hear some of the stuff off the record at the training ground, but every time we would go down on the Thursday, Paul Cook would be that, we'll be fine, don't put it out there, we'll be fine. And you were there with the team as well, saying, look, everything's going to be all right. And this was back in February when we were, I think, 7th in the table, and there was still that belief that, don't worry, we'll be all right.
Yeah, I mean, I was quietly confident because we started off the season, I think we only picked up 2 points out of the first 9. And then if you looked at our form in any block of games, it was always promotion form, give or take a few points. And obviously with Owen Doyle coming in and the depth of the squad and unfortunately us going out the cup competitions, if that's sort of a bizarre compliment, that I knew our squad was going to be fresh. Paul instilled that into me that, listen, as long as we're there or thereabouts with 10, 15 games to go, we will get over the line. And I believe in Paul, and that's what he delivered on what he promised.
And it's been a long year for you. I know Liam and Paul, the day after Plymouth, after the playoffs, they were in there looking forward to next season. So, it's almost a year now, really, that you've been on.
It is, yeah, and I think one of the earliest things I said, and I never go on Facebook, but I did the day after. I wish I could have spoke to the press, but it was only Ian that was able to do it, and it was one of the best speeches I've ever seen, because I was literally in tears and physically sick. I couldn't speak to anyone the day after we got knocked out of Plymouth, and Ian picked up that mantle and gave a great speech. So when I got myself together the next day, I posted on Facebook and said, like, that hurt will never go away, but as from today, we are now planning for next season. And to be fair to Paul and everyone else, we did.
So I guess it's a well-earned break for you after.
I need it sometime. Yeah.
The Marbella trip, that's been mentioned for all the players. Will you be joining?
No, I won't. I was going to go, but now I think Paul's not going. They're going on a separate trip, so I don't fall into either camp there.
Has the planning started for next season? I know you came on record and said that when Pompey know their destiny, players' contracts will be talked about then. Is that beginning now? Because I know there's some notable names that people would like to see signed next season.
Yeah, it has started. It was always a high-risk strategy in that some of our better players, that as the season ran down and we achieved success, and obviously they play well, then the power shifts to them particular players. And obviously we are working under the current model with the current budget we've got, and some of the prices, are going to be difficult for us to get to because players are talking to other clubs already.
So I guess that is how competitive it is. Of course, some of the performances don't go unnoticed. I think everyone here can work out what players they are.
Yeah, and I mean, listen, some of the players have been in League 2 Team of the Year, been in the EFL Team of the Year, so they're going to be in demand. And as I say, it's going to be difficult for us to try and keep them players at the club. And you can't. Football's a weird game. If you raise the bar in regards of salary levels to try and do that, then before you know where you are, every other player's knocking on the door going, why is he getting X amount per week and I'm not? So you've got to be careful and you've got to work within a budget and remain disciplined.
And obviously looking at incomings then to PFC, has the work began on that? Has Paul identified certain players that he wants you to go out and get?
Yeah, loads of them. Paul saying he wants to tinker with the squad means he wants to add about 15. No, I think we've got, the nucleus of a good squad, but I'm sure, as with all managers, Paul will be looking to improve wherever and whenever he can.
Was part of the game of putting together this squad last season that if we did go up, that we won't have to invest majorly in getting a whole new team, that actually we just need 3 or 4 additions and we'll be okay? Yeah,
I think historically, teams that go up from League 2 into League 1, it's not when you go from League 1 into the Championship, that's tough. When you go from the Championship into the Premiership, it gets even tougher. But the jump from League 2 to League 1 historically is the clubs that have gone up tend to do okay, even on their existing squad. So I think the thinking is from Paul that, with this, the nucleus of this existing squad, with some additions, we should be competitive next season.
So if I could push you for some of the most memorable moments from League 2, there's obviously been a few. If I could push you for...
I like the Gary Roberts goal away at Carlisle. I think that was quite defining, if I'm being honest. I thought the Naismith goal at Grimsby, the free kick, was great as well. But I think it's been a great season all year, really. We've been there or thereabouts. I mean, that's something we tend to forget, that give or take the odd week, during the 2 years of Paul being in charge, we've more or less consistently been in the playoffs as a minimum. So we have competed regularly at that level.
And will that be the target? Difficult to say, improve year on year. Have you set aside some targets for next season, or is that all to come?
No, I think you set your targets based on your budgets. There's teams in League 2 that haven't got great budgets that have competed relatively well near the top end. So you always look at that and go, you've done well. Conversely, there's teams that had big budgets that have not done well. So I think you always judge your manager and your squad on the budgets, and as we've openly said and been honest, we have got a mid-table League One budget. So anything above that would be good. Yeah.
Very happy with that. And of course, budgets, that brings us on to the season ticket prices. You said you had to raise them, obviously, because Pompey are going up into League One, and there's not been much grumbling about that. Fans seem to understand why the prices have been raised.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just the jump from League 2 into League 1, it's the fact that we're coming into our 5th year of community ownership. The prices hadn't been raised previously, so it was, and it was a decision the board took that, you know, I fully support and understand that. It was always difficult to raise prices while you was in League 2, and we always said amongst ourselves as a board, as soon as we got to League 1, that was when we would try and play catch-up. And to be fair, again, being open, honest and transparent, the fans knew that, the fans have bought into that, and we've had very few complaints about it.
Certainly have. How much have you enjoyed the past few games with not really much on it? You can sit back, relax, enjoy the football, and everything seems okay.
No, I've really enjoyed it. I mean, it's like most people on the board and fans yourselves, for the week leading up to a game, you're literally a nervous wreck, you know. It's mind-boggling. The day of the game, you bite your fingernails, you're just so worried, you don't really enjoy it. I mean, there's games you go 1-0 up and it's after 20 minutes and you go, can you just blow the whistle now? Where now I'm actually enjoying the 90 minutes, you know, I'm actually watching the game going, I'm enjoying this, so yeah, it's great. I mean, it's turned around slightly again, although I'm not I want to win the league, obviously, everyone does, but I'm not going to let that ruin our day tomorrow, for me personally.
And the day tomorrow as well, is there going to be a players, are they going to do a lap of honour? Is there going to be speeches made by the manager, the captain after the game?
I think the plan is they get presented with medals, you know, for the promotion, I believe. There'll be the traditional lap of honour. But in regards of them doing that, and bearing in mind we've got the ladies' game the next day, we're going to ask fans not to go on the pitch. I know that's going to be difficult. I know people are laughing at me. But no, the quicker we can get any silliness like that out of the way, and then the plan is for the players and their families to do the lap of honour, try and be as close to the fans as they can, and you know, throw their stuff into the crowds and that. Yeah.
And obviously, you know them better than most people. It's their moment there, isn't it, to enjoy and savour and see what they've done.
Yeah, I think it's, and we've got the event Sunday as well, which I think is great, and that's not so much about us, you know, saying well done to the players. That's the players and the management team actually turning around to the fans and giving them an opportunity to thank them for their support all year, and it's been immense. Yet again, I mean, the attendances, season ticket sales, everything's going up, and it's just truly astounding, as I say, what the fans have done in getting behind the team all year. And I thought, for me, if you don't mind me going back, following the Crew defeat at home, which I think was one of the low points for most of us, to go to then Crawley away, and I always remember that it was the first time I started hearing we were on our way song, and the French flag flying, and that was one of the defining moments of the season for me, because I sort of felt from the first minute the players were stung by the criticism after Crewe, and that forced the reaction.
It certainly did, and one of those things where we're glad Michael Eisner chose the Grimsby game rather than coming a week over for Crewe. Might not be. Yeah. So the message from Mark Catlin then, stay off the pitch tomorrow. Let's enjoy it. Ladies and gentlemen, if you could put your hands together for Mr. Mark Catlin, thank you. To join us after the break, we'll be joined by Pompey Chairman, Mr. Ian McGinnis, Express.